You act completely differently when you're all alone. We both know it, so stop lying to yourself. You cut corners, you lose focus, and your standards drop drastically. But it's not because you're a bad man inherently, it's because nothing interrupts your impulses. What does? Well, authority. But you have no authority when you're all alone. So it comes from teachers, parents, and friends. So what do you do when you're all alone? Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you, first of all, why you're so weak when you're alone, and second of all, how to fix it. Because discipline is hardest when no one sees you. As a result, the solitude exposes your real habits without the aforementioned authority. So just thinking for a moment, the problem isn't your character, it's what's left, the environment. And the environment starts with where you are. The problem is, though, young men think that they can just out-willpower the environment. They're idiots. They think, I'll just work harder and then I'll be good. But look at a millionaire. He didn't have this unfathomable level of willpower. All he did was just the work and built the right habits when you didn't want to. He helped slowly build the right systems and the healthy environment. He didn't just churn out more work. He just built something that was easier to do work. So a clean room will make you more productive, while a messy room might kill your momentum. And waking up to a phone beside your face will encourage you to go on that phone. Rather, if you had a book, you might never read the book, but you will certainly not waste your time on your phone. Think of a chair. I'm on a crappy wooden chair. I didn't put it here, it was just a part of the bedroom. However, that crappy wooden chair doesn't result in me laying it because it's comfortable. Rather, it results in me standing up straighter because it has no back support, encouraging better posture. You fail alone because you try to brace against temptations that are inches away. But the truth is, you can't out-discipline your environment. You have to design a healthier environment that makes it easy to work. Why make it so hard to work when you can make it hard to fall into temptation and so easy to do the work that you can't ever fail? And in failure, we find triggers. Now, I know people find the word trigger, they find it like cliche or cringy, but the sooner we can rationalize that triggers cause our failure, the sooner we can actually isolate them and avoid them. So think of it this way. You're bored. So what do? You pick up your phone. You're on your phone. What do? You scroll on Instagram. What are you doing when you're scrolling on Instagram? You're building dopamine. So what does dopamine result to? An addiction. What does addiction result to? Shame. Why? Well, the same way how you feel shameful for not having a girlfriend, you lust for women online. And that builds a void inside of you. So what do? You lust again, but that doesn't fill the void. It just makes it larger because you have more shame. So back to our phone example. So you have addiction, which creates shame. And what does shame do? You scroll more to try and fill that void. So what does scrolling result in? No discipline, and it becomes a loop. So you just created a bad habit off of the simple triggers. But the sooner you can realize that, the sooner you can break it apart. And the sooner you can have less shame because you've rationalized it. And when you rationalize things, it's less inherent to have shame. The unfortunate thing is, though, men spend years in this cycle. And it doesn't stop here. Cycles last lifetimes. You go to school, you come back home, what do? Nothing. And these men think they're lazy, but the reality is they've just fallen into the same triggers again and again and again without realizing it. So what's the fix? Break the triggers, not the habit. You can go on your phone, but don't scroll. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, then scroll. But are you going to get an addiction from it? That's not a problem. Okay, well then are you going to do the work regardless? And even if none of that's possible, even if you can't flirt your way to getting to where you want, throw your phone entirely away. If flirting with the temptation is, if that's unsuccessful, as it likely would be, addiction strives on you flirting with your temptation, throw the phone away entirely. If it's not possible that you can balance your life through using it and still having discipline, then don't use it at all. Try to isolate the triggers wholeheartedly to the point where you know exactly where your faults are. If the fault isn't the addiction, then is it scrolling? If the fault isn't scrolling, then is it your phone? If the fault isn't even your phone, is it boredom? How are you bored? Why are you bored? So what do? Well, we replace it with rituals, something that is much more inspiring and significant in our lives. So instead of scrolling in bed, right, put your phone across the room and have a water bottle on your nightstand. It's something simple, but now you're not on your phone. Maybe you have a little bit of a drink of water before you're going to bed. And the crazy thing is, this impacts our everyday lives. Men are going to tell you, oh, I drink water before going to bed and it makes me sleep easier. Or, I sleep this way on my back. Or I sleep this way or that way. And here's the studies. But the truth is, they just stopped going on their phone. They stopped doing the bad things. It just so happens that the bad thing that they replaced it with was good. And inherently, that good thing makes them believe that all of a sudden it's this perfect messianic thing that is unstoppable. But the truth is, it's half part it's good, half part they got rid of the bad. So stop focusing wholeheartedly on getting rid of the bad and try to replace it with something nice. Rather, instead of comfort eating, have prepped meals. Prepped meals are awesome. You learn a variety of skills by doing that. And in that, you stop having comfort eating. Instead of wasting your nights away, make a nighttime routine hour, or you clean, or you journal, or you plan. The idea is make it harder to do the bad things and easier to do the good things, right? Now you're cleaning your room, now you're journaling, now you're planning, rather than doing the poor things. So not only you're not doing poor things, but you're setting yourself up for success by having meaningful things that move you closer to your goals, right? Cleaning makes you have a better environment. Journaling helps you reflect more to be a better man, and planning sets your day up for tomorrow. So don't just stop the bad habits, but replace them with rituals that lead you to better habits in the future. And in rituals, you find a purpose. Because what's the point of these rituals if you don't have something that leads you towards something better? So purposes make you more disciplined. Ideally, you'd have one key purpose with a lot of larger purposes leading towards them. Like you want to go to the gym. Well, why? Because you want a better physique. Well, why? Because you want a girlfriend. Or even if not that, you just want to be happier. So when you're alone, discipline collapses unless you know you're doing something. People like to burn out, not because they're tired, but because they forgot what they're doing. Think of the rich guy who did years and years and years of work making his money. He made it. He's got money. But now what? And he forgets he has to go all the way back down to square one to start learning a new skill. Maybe he wants to learn to be a good husband. Well, you don't learn to be a good husband by making money. You make money to make money. So they burn out because they don't know what to do. But people find that purpose makes discipline easy, because a man who trains to fight doesn't try to stay disciplined, right? A man who trains to provide for his future family doesn't try. He's not trying to do it. He just does it. You have a goal and you want to work towards it. So you're not trying to go to the gym. You're a man who wants to have a better physique. So you want to go to the gym now. So your question shouldn't be, how do I force discipline? It should be, why am I doing this? Because if you can figure out why you're doing this, it's so easy to do your discipline. For me, the why is I want a lovely lady when I come back home. I'll be honest with you. We've had a pretty awkward moment these last few months, and it's been very difficult since I've been so far away for school. But I have to remind myself, Nolan, you want to have a stronger body, a sharper mind, and a better spirit. So when you come back, you're a better man. And then I remember, it doesn't matter how many views I get on these videos, doesn't matter how good the gym days are, doesn't matter how little food I get. What matters is why. And now I can't burn out because I just reminded myself why I'm doing this. And that's where discipline comes from. You don't need to argue with yourself whether you're going to do it or not when you know why you want to do it. And in this, you realize most men aren't undisciplined, they're just directionless. So when you're all alone, when you feel weak, search for your direction. What are you doing and why you want to do it? And look for something long term. Men love the 3-month schemes where you just make a bunch of money short term. That's nice and all. And in fact, it works great. But try to find something long-term and fill that long-term goal with a lot of short-term goals. So you know what? It might be making a lot of money, and that might be filled with a lot of short-term businesses. That's certainly better than doing nothing. So how do we build this momentum when we're all alone? Well, momentum is the real secret to discipline. Once you start, it's awesome to get going. Starting these videos feel awkward, and I have honestly 20 to 30 takes where I just can't get the intro right. But once I'm going, I'm going. So here's how you build it alone. You start small, like brutally small. You don't go to the gym by starting a gym membership. You go to the gym by building the motivation and the momentum to going, right? So maybe start with a couple push-ups when you're all alone, some squats. You don't read a whole book by going page to page, end to end. You read a book by going letter to letter, word to word. So make it so incredibly small that it is so easy that you can't fail. Crush your ego down. Stop thinking, I'm going to do this big project. No. Don't make a video, open the editor. Don't go to the gym, start some push-ups. Don't make a video, take your phone out and press record. Stop being so ashamed of having this goal in mind when you should just be having these so inherently easy tasks that you cannot fail them. You can't fail them. And in this, repeat them daily. Every day, same hour. Consistency, right? Not necessarily this intensity, but consistency. Consistent so you can become used to them, right? Habits are things we're used to. If you play video games, it's a habit to play video games. It's easy. But what if going to the gym was easy? So that you can add on and add on and add on, and it becomes easier and easier. So then track them, right? Track one thing at a time and you get momentum so you can add on more and more and more and more. But the point is, it starts so incredibly easy, you can't fail. 90% of the time that people fail, it's when they just give up after starting. So reward your identity, not the result. Reward being the man who does this, not the man who gets that. And in that, you will find that momentum creates identity, and identity creates the discipline all based on your environment and based off of what you're doing. And you did that all when you're alone. You don't need someone to tell you to do 10 push-ups to do it. That's just you instinctively wanting to just do something. So stop chasing the goal, but chase the journey that leads up to the goal. And you know what? That journey might be a plethora of smaller goals. So let it be so. Make it easy, man. You don't have to make it hard. Making a bunch of money is easy. It's just people don't want to do it because they see it as this unimaginable large picture. But as long as you see it bit by bit, it's easy. Just like the triggers. Dropping an addiction is hard, but stop scrolling or stopping going on your phone or moving your phone across the room, that's easy. Additionally, we have this myth of accountability. You don't need people to yell at you. All you need is a system that doesn't allow you to drift, a system that makes it easy. You can have everyone yell at you to do work, but you won't do the work, right? There's this famous idea that you can have a gym instructor. He teaches you all the core exercises. He gets you this perfect meal plan, but it's your job to go to the gym. He could drive you to the gym. He could pay for your gym membership, but if you're not lifting the weight, it's all in vain. So this accountability myth, it doesn't matter how many people are yelling at you to do the work. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself and if you yourself don't do the work, it's all in vain. That's why whether my parents tell me what I'm doing is good or not doesn't impact my success. Because I know, regardless of how many people believe in me or say they're rooting for me, it doesn't matter because it's all based off of what I do. So your schedule, you stick to it. The room that affects your mindset, you live in it. The phone that is beside you, you determine if it distracts you or not. You got to build a life that's around goals, not comfort. You got to be the man who keeps accountability for himself, not from others. So discipline isn't found in groups, but it's proven in solitude. That's why people say, go have your alone time, or a man is built when he's all alone. Not because you need this alone time, but because when you're alone, it forces you to be your own mentor, your own authority. We're always taught to have your boss or your CEO in work, or you have your teacher or the older kids in school to keep you accountable. Because it's easy. You have parents tell you what to do. You have teachers to give you work. You have your boss to pay you. But when you're all alone, you have to learn it for yourself. So imagine going back to those environments with the authority when you have your own authority. It makes you such a better man, and it makes you so much more likely to work. Because oftentimes we spend more time alone than we do when we're with others. And discipline. Well, discipline's already inside you. You just haven't seen it yet. You're not broken. You just live in an environment that destroys your discipline, not one that creates it. So you got to fix your environment. You got to replace your rituals. You got to build your momentum, and you got to find your purpose. Because discipline becomes insanely easy when you stop fighting yourself and you just look to make things easier to work towards. So you got to design a life of the man you're trying to become, right? Stop chasing the goal, but chase the man you want to become. Let that be the goal, right? You might want to get money, so start becoming the man who creates the money. You don't become a millionaire and then all of a sudden you get the habits that allow you to manage money. You got to act and become the man who is able to manage money, millions of dollars that is, and then you will be rewarded with that money, right? And it takes time to do those things. If you want to become a Mr. Olympian, you don't, become a Mr. Olympian and then you have a crazy physique. You get the crazy physique and then you're rewarded with it. So likewise, have a healthy environment, have proper rituals rather than just day-to-day nonsense, and build up momentum that creates the discipline led by purpose. And that's how you become a good man. My name is Nolan T. Painter. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned something, maybe share it around. That actually helps me a lot more than you think it is. Maybe leave a kind comment. Whatever it is, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.